Good afternoon. It's not very often that I say good afternoon in a video. This is a very unusual time of day for me to be making a video, and you must excuse my appearance as well. I've just got home from a very long and hot walk. It's a beautiful day in Cornwall, but it is just so hot. On average, the temperature when we were walking, and we were walking predominantly in the shade, was 29 degrees centigrade, which may not be hot for many parts of the world, but that was really, really hot for us. Our homes don't have air conditioning. Anyway, when I got home, there was a parcel from an auction house and a new sampler has arrived today, and I will show you that sampler in a moment. It's not this one, this is another one we're going to talk about. I've had a bumper post this week, and you're going to have a bumper video filled with lots and lots of goodies. A few days ago, this beautiful project bag arrived, and this is from Patchwork Paw Prints, and they are a store on Etsy based in the UK, and it's a really lovely project bag. It's well made, the zip is very nicely inset, you've got a suede tag, and inside the fabric has a quilted effect to it. The zip is well put in, the seams are very nicely done. It's a nice finish on this project bag, and I love the little finishing touch of the wooden button that has the name of the company, Patchwork Paw Print, on it. The project bag is also a very good size. In the UK, our standard size is A4, which is a little bit bigger than letter size in the US, and this project bag will take an A4 booklet, fabric, hoop, threads very, very easily. I love that pattern. I love cabbage roses, and I love red. Now, the highlights of, well, it could even be the year, was a bumper delivery of Vera Soie silks, and these are just the 103 silks that have come. I'm in seventh heaven. Now, a lot of these have got homes to go to. Some of them replace silks that I've used for my personal stash for projects in lockdown. Some have to go back into Hands Across the Sea samplers supplies, and others are going to model stitches for projects that are about to go into production. And some of these colours are new colours, and I cannot wait to sort all of these out and to have a look at the new colours, and when I do, I will share those new colours with you. I have been anxiously waiting these new colours. We have a fabulous Norfolk sampler, and this sampler is just glorious. It's everything a Norfolk sampler should be, but we couldn't get the perfect colour or the perfect shade on one of the colours in this sampler, and I believe that one of the new colours is got its earmark for this sampler, so I'm very, very excited. It's really lovely to work with a company like Vera Soie and Access Commodities. Lamora at Access Commodities has a wonderful knowledge of colour and the history of dyeing of silks, and she understands the colours that we see in antique samplers, and it's a pleasure to work with her. She's listening to what we're saying, and she's working very, very hard to add even more colours to the range that are perfect for reproduction samplers. So tomorrow I'm going to spend the day sorting all these spools out and finding homes for them, sending them to model stitchers, and really just sort of relishing my time with them. I've also got some more soie d'argent silks, got boxes of silks that have come, and soie d'argent is just such a beautiful silk to be working with, and there's just, well, the colours, they just go on and on, but I'm not going to get them out because there is an order to these silks, the way they're sent, so I'm just going to pop those back. Now in the bottom of this bag from Access, or this box from Access Commodities, there are some new linens. You can see my excitement. Not only did I have silks, I had new linens as well. So I'm going to share those with you. So if we have a look at the lower case first, this one is Victoria Sponge Cake, and it's a beautiful, rich buttercream, really, really lovely. There's a warmth to this colour, yet it's a clean, fresh colour at the same time. Really, really nice, and this will showcase the beautiful colours of the silk. It's, what count is it? It's 30 count, and it's a quality linen. I love handling linen, I love stroking the linen and feeling it. And I must say that the legacy linens, they do feel so beautiful when you hold them in your hand. You can feel the quality. Italian linens are special. And even though I'm half Italian, I do say that without bias. The next colour is Fuller's Teasel. I love these names, and it's 38 count, and it's beautiful. I can see this being used in many reproduction samplers. It's a colour that has some age to it, a piece of linen that's aged gracefully. Very, very nice. Actually, having a white top is a good way to show off the colours of the linen. I put white on today because it was so hot. I thought it would help me keep cool. I've got a little boy down there who is absolutely flaked out. He's had such a lovely walk today, and of course he walks about 4 times the distance that we do because he's back and forth, back and forth. Now let's go back to linen. This one is Foxtail Millet in 45 count, and this again is a gorgeous colour, very similar to Corn Tassel, and I can again see this being used in many reproduction samplers, and it's just beautiful to feel. You can feel the quality in this linen. Now this one doesn't say what count it is. It's called Rain Barrel, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was, and again I haven't come with my glasses, if this wasn't a 25 or a 28 count. It's a linen that people who stitch primitive designs will really enjoy. It's very, there's just that feeling about it. Really, really lovely. And the colour is fabulous as well. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of stitchers excited to get their hands on this piece of linen. Now, there's also this wonderful selection of high count linen, 53, 63, and it's wonderful. This one is Woodland Bower, which is really lovely, and the next one is Sandcastle. Those are fabulous colours, fabulous. And these will be going into use straight away with me. They're just so lovely. I'm going to try and keep these in order so I know which ones to put them back. Now this one is very interesting. It's called Waffle Cone, and this is very, very similar to wild honey, and the other colour, and I'm going to get this wrong, I've got a 50-50 chance of getting this right, it's either honey glaze or glazed honey. And this is a high count 5363 that will be comparable to those colours, and wild honey has been so popular. I just love that, really do. And again, this is a very good match for many antique samplers that you see. I'm sure we're going to be using this a lot. Now this next colour, I've never seen an antique sampler this colour. It's called French Marigolds, and it's a bright sunshine colour. If you like exploring more modern designs, or even some original work of your own, that is a lovely colour to showcase other colours. But I don't think, or I've not yet come across an antique sampler in that colour. But it's really lovely to have these fun ones to play with as well. So that's all the new linen that's come, and I just feel we're so lucky that all of a sudden suppliers are waking up to the fact that there is a huge interest in stitching reproduction samplers, and companies are going out of their way to bring in the right colours for us, giving us the choice of counts that we want to work with. I remember when I first started to stitch in the UK, they were sort of like white, cream and maybe raw, and that was our choice of linen, if you could find linen in the first place. All of this is like having all the Christmases rolled into one. Anyway, let's have a little look at the sampler that came today. Now, you're going to look at this and you think, Nicola, why have you bought this? Well, Nicola likes to give homes to waifs and strays, and this sampler is one that probably will not appeal to a lot of people. And you think, why have you bought this? Well, the reason I bought this is because I felt it deserved a home. This piece of needlework was stitched by a soldier who had been injured in the First World War, and he stitched this in hospital whilst he was convalescing. And my needle has helped me heal through different things that have happened to me through my life. My needle has kept my sanity at times, and wise soldiers that were convalescent from the horrors of the First World War, they turned to their needles not only to pass the time, but as therapy for their mental health. And I wonder what torment this man's mind was in when he started this sampler, and what his mind was like when he finished this sampler. There are a lot of stitches in this sampler. The whole surface is covered. And I just wanted to give this a home, recognition of that man's service to his country. And if I have found the right soldier, he wasn't somebody that was conscripted. He was quite old when he volunteered. He enlisted into the army to fight for his country, and he suffered dreadful injuries which took him a long time to get over. I'm not going to reproduce it, but I do love it, and I love why it was stitched and the purpose that it probably served, to help the man's mind heal. I believe that he belonged to the West Kent Yeomanry, and I don't know if that is still an active regiment, but I plan to research it. If it is an active regiment, I will write to them, and if they do want the sampler for their regimental headquarters or their regimental museum, I will gift this sampler to them. If the regiment is no longer active, then this sampler will hang in my home in memory of this man, and also in memory of my own grandfather, who I never knew. He was a professional soldier. He was a soldier as a young man, and he saw service in Africa and in Egypt, and then he saw service in World War One. He went through all the major battles in World War One, and he actually died in a bombing raid in World War Two. He was very ill. He never recovered from his injuries from World War One, and he had problems with his intestines through an injury he suffered. And during World War Two, he was in hospital, very, very ill, and there was a bombing raid, and the bombing raid brought back all his shell shock from the First World War, and he died just through the sheer stress on his heart during that bombing raid. Anyway, that was a digression. I'm glad this has come to me. Anyway, this sampler. This is a really, really interesting sampler. I'm sure you recognise that it's Scottish. And this little girl, she covered every single part of or surface of her linen. I'm sorry about the reflection. As I said, I don't normally do videos at this time of day because of the light that comes into this room. This sampler, the more you look at it, the more you will see. She crammed all sorts of things in. I love the little bird perched in the centre of her C, and in the centre of her D she put a heart. There's lots of things in this sampler that just make it a delight to look at and to study. Now, this is being reproduced, and yesterday afternoon I started to work on her. And initially it was thought that there was no name on this sampler, just the year 1829, and lots of initials. And this border is full of initials. And initially it was thought that this border was full of initials. But when I started to chart her, I started here and I'm working my way across just as if I was stitching her. Then when I looked here, these aren't initials, these are two names. It's John Alexander and Helen Spaden, S-P-A-D-E-N. And that is actually a very rare name in this country. And when I discovered these names last night, I quickly had a little look in family history records, and there just is hardly any for the surname of Spaden. But there was one Spaden in Scotland, in Edinburgh, and it was a gentleman, and he appeared in a trade directory. So that's a little lead which I shall look forward to following through and researching properly. If we can't find the name of the little girl, because I'm sure John Alexander and Helen Spaden are probably her parents. In Scotland, women tended to keep their maiden names. We're going to have to think of a name for this sampler if we can't find the little girl's name that stitched it. But you never know, as I carry on reproducing her, I might find something in the sampler. The colours are absolutely glorious in this sampler, and I think that when I take her off her backing board, that we will see some richer colours come through again, and I'm sure that this will be the most glorious purple. Do you know what? There's a lot more purples that we used in samplers than we realise. Purple fades out so badly before chemical dyes. Scottish samplers, they're just so rich, so vibrant, so full of life. I love that couple at the bottom and the funky peacock. Anyway, this is something for you to look forward to. This is being reproduced for Hands Across the Sea samplers to share with you. Anyway, I had better go and do some work because today has been all about walking and enjoying this glorious day. So next video, which will be Friday morning Australian time, will be the release of the Queen of the May. So keep an eye open for that video releasing on Friday morning Australian time. But until then, take care and stay well. Bye-bye.